Betsy Mix.
If you're joining us on the Zoom, please make l'chaim as well. Oh, shkach.
Oh, a bissel mashke.
A bissel l'chaim, yeah.
Okay, אז I'm coming. Oh, man. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם כל יום בדברו.
אמן. לחיים, לחיים.
Okay, I'm on the way.
L'chaim. It's 50 years since we're going into 50th year. A special story that Rebbe told about his father-in-law, and he said it at a Yovel Shana 50 years. It happened 50 years before that. It's a story that happened in 1932. I'm sorry, 1922. The Rebbe told it in the Fabrengen Beis, and now we're going into 50th year from, and now this year is going into 50 years from that. When things were getting very difficult and under the Bolsheviks, the Frierdiker Rebbe was in Moscow. The Frierdiker Rebbe called for another 9 Tmimim to come for a secret asifa. And the asifa was very simple. The Frierdiker Rebbe suggested that they make a Krisus bris with him. They're the 9, he is the 10th. They're going to make a Krisus bris that they're going to go around crisscross the entire country to open up chadorim and mikvahs until the last drop of blood. The Kachava, not everyone that made that Krisus bris, I mean, everyone made it, but not everyone made it, yes. And it's just fascinating. I read every year it comes to Chag HaGeula. I read a little bit, but there's such a long Rishima. This year I just looked at in the back. They have like Hosafos, a long letter from my Alta Zayda Shem Yikum Domai. He describes, like we think if the Frierdiker Rebbe was taken to prison and Rahman al-Aslan, he was tormented. But I mean, he was living under duress from the first day of his Nasius. He took over the Nasius under the Bolsheviks. And describing the difficult, it's just unbelievable how the difficult conditions that the Rebbe Rayatz lived under, just daily terror that he lived under. This is 7 years before he was arrested. Just the daily terror. My Zayda described. My Zayda lived with him in his house. My Zayda had this. Today they bought back the house. It's like funny. Shmulik spoke about this. The original, the mikveh, Agabi mikveh with Rabbi Landau. Barak, he wrote up a thing of the original mikveh. He sat with the Rebbe Rashab and they worked out. That original mikveh they bought a couple of years ago. That's my Zayda traveled there and he showed them every room exactly how it was used because my Zayda lived there. It's just remarkable to see that there was this. Okay, the Rebbe spoke about this, and this is 50 years after it happened. The Rebbe spoke about it. Now we're going into the 50 years of that, and there was a beautiful nakuda that the Rebbe, the entire. This, by the way, one of the first Fabrengens that were televised and also that were recorded. They came out this year. If you want to buy the video from Gem, it's beautiful. They have it translated in English in many languages. I have it myself at home, but one of the first times, yeah. Very. Tav Shalom Beis, 72. The Rebbe told the story, and the Rebbe asked a simple question: why did my father-in-law tell the story? What's Nageya? Well, he wanted to aggrandize himself. He called it selling godless from sich allein. 10 people, they had a krisis bris in the Sidis Nefesh. By the way, when this was like, the krisis bris couldn't come soon enough. When he went on the train to go back home to Rostov, my great-grandfather met him at the station and told him he shouldn't go home because that would be the end of him. Who were the 10 people? I don't know the Rishima. I actually went today and I thought maybe it'll be easy to find. I don't know, but people know. I don't. Ich bin nicht von der größten Kenntnis. Es ist der einzige Fragen, es ist gefunden Punkt weggewinnen. No. The Soviets already took the blood. They just made a krisis bris with the Rebbe. They made a vow that they're going to fight this clandestine thing with the Rebbe until their last drop of blood. That was their words. Until their last drop of blood. Right. Until their last drop of blood. Agav Urcha. Not Agav Urcha. First, Taka the Rebbe's word. And then we'll talk about Agav Urcha, a story that I heard from my Zayda. So, the Rebbe asked, what's Nageya? So, it's nice if Uri tzaddikim, but still, a tzaddik should tell a story about himself, which is something which is very private. Okay, there were a few people that survived, some that didn't survive, and even those that survived had a lot of Yisuri Teufus. What's Negei the Maisa? The bottom line, the Rebbe said that it's to teach us a lesson. So it's for us to learn a lesson. And the lesson is that there could be two ways. There could be Mesidus Nefesh and Krisis Bris. It's a beautiful hezbollah. What's Mesidus Nefesh? The Alter Rebbe says, Mesidus Nefesh, what Mesidus Nefesh? Mesidus Nefesh. Mesidus Aguf. The Nefesh, he never loses his Nefesh. Like the Frierdiker Rebbe, when he was interrogated, so the interrogator got angry at him and he put the gun on the table and he said, listen, this toy, don't pay dumb. This toy made many people speak. The Frierdiker Rebbe said, I'm not intimidated. Oh, I forgot. Frierdiker Rebbe said, I'm not intimidated by you. So he said, you're not intimidated by me. He put the gun on the table. He said, this toy makes a lot of people intimidated. So the Frierdiker Rebbe said, but I am not. The only people that are intimidated by this gun is people that have one world and two gods. But I have one God and two worlds. And then he was Nebach, he was a Yid. He said, Nem dos avek. It's like a pela. And he listened. He got such an. He said, take the gun off the table. The Rebbe commanded him, take the gun off the table. He listened. He took the gun off the table. He forgot he was supposed to be a killer. He became he was listening. So the Rebbe said that what's Mesidus Nefesh? The Frierdiker Rebbe asks in a Maimer in the Torah doesn't make sense. The Nefesh, you never lose your Nefesh. A yid doesn't lose a nefesh. The goof, maybe he loses. Chas v'sholom, a person dies like Kiddush Hashem, they lose their goof, but the nefesh they don't lose. So what's the pshat? Mesidus nefesh. Why is that loshen and chazal? It's not in the Torah Shabbat. It's all over Torah Shabbat. The mitzvah mesidus nefesh brought in the poiskim and so on. But the expression is mesidus nefesh, not mesidus aguf. So he says that the nekuda, the way the Rebbe explains it also is that if you look in Tanakh, nefesh means my will. Ein nafshi ela omazeh, says in Yirmiyah. I have no interest in these people. Or he's having Tilim Chavdalad, Veloy nosa lashov nafshi. I don't desire things of shov. So nafshi means my rotzen. What does it mean, mesidus nefesh? That the point is not that a yid should lose his body. Chas v'shalom. A yid has to live. A yid is so in love with Hashem Yisboreh. He gives his rotzen. Moiser is rotzen. Yeah, I have no agenda of my own. I don't have any aspirations to build a family, to build a business, to build a career, to build this. I have nothing. I have no agenda. I have no nothing. I'm moiser my rotzen to the Rebbeinu Shalom. Just like someone is in unbelievable love with someone else, he gives. I don't care anything. I'm giving my whole rotzen to you. A yid gives his whole rotzen to the Eibishter. The Mela, if there's an assignment of Kiddush Hashem, he doesn't care if he has to walk through the furnace. But the point is that secondary that he loses his goof. The ikir is that he gives to the is that he gives his neshama to the Eibishter. Mesidus nefesh, the nefesh he gives to the Eibishter. So Sagt the Rebbe that a person that what could be greater? But we find in the Torah there is something greater. The krisis bris. What's krisis bris? It says that Moshe Rabbeinu made with the Yidna krisis bris. They already had Mount Torah. Now those there was especially in krisis bris. It's nitzavim. And the Alter Rebbe explains a beautiful thing. What's the krisis bris? Alter Rebbe says that they take an animal and they cut it in half, like the Eibishter did. The Eibishter made a bris together with Avraham Avinu. Is ben absorim. They took the satzipor loy boser. They cut everything. They cut in half, and they walked ben absorim. The Eibishter and Avraham Avinu walked between the Alter Rebbe says pshat before the chassidus part of it. What's the pshat? Well, what's the symbolism here? That the two people say that we love each other so much, even though it doesn't make sense that I should love you and you love me. Right now we have a closer relationship, whatever. I have something to give to you, you have something to give to me right now. But what happens one day, I have nothing to give you. But the love is so strong, it's as if we became one. Just like this animal, if you cut it in half, is given garnished. Us two, that's the idea of a krisis bris. Us two became one. Exactly. That's why a marriage is called a krisis bris. The Choyzem Mulublin asks, what's the connection of a marriage to krisis bris? I don't understand. Maybe if a person has a bris milah is called a krisis bris. Avraham Avinu had a knife in his hand. The Eibishter held his hand because his hand was shaking. And he helped him cut off the orla. It's a krisis bris. But when two people get married, what's the krisis bris? This is just a beautiful word. It says, the best drawers that you have, for example, is not when they're stapled in the corners. It's when they're dovetailed. When they're dovetailed, then they stick together good. They go together. Those drawers that last for a longer time. Otherwise, they fall apart easily. How do you dovetail two things? Eights by eights. You have to carve into one side and you have to carve into from the other side. And then you tekeya, you knock it into each other. That's the opposite. That's exactly. That's the shaila of the chayzer. So what's krisis? Who's cutting over here? The story that there was a Rav that it was a Masada Kiddushim. It was also Masada Gittin. At the end, he was saying, some Gittin. Gittin means we should see each other in good occasions, but it also means, unfortunately, so that's his question. That's what the Chayz is asking. What kind of language it is? Krisis bris when it comes to chasen. That's the minig Yisrael to say, they came into a krisis bris. So he said because to have shalom bayis, there's only one way to do it. I have to cut a little bit into my flesh, and the spouse has to cut a little bit into their flesh. That I mevater for myself, and I put myself aside. What not negate what I want, not negate what I want. Carve out the wood, throw it out. Just negate what I want. Negate what she wants. Not negate what makes me happy. What makes her happy. Not negate if it's on my schedule. It's her schedule. So not negate if the nice dresses interest me, but it interests her. Okay, so if it interests her, it interests me. So that's what makes a krisus bris. That's why a Jewish marriage is a krisus bris. Right? More than that. Really cut in. So says the Rebbe, that's the word of the krisus bris. The Friedrich Rebbe demanded from his Chassidim, and specifically in the story that he called 9 Tamimim, 9 young guys, energetic guys, that they should make with him a krisus bris. Sidis nefesh, you could say, is lamechza l'shri shel Rabbi. I'm dedicating myself. There's people are volunteers. Dedicate 2 hours a week. I volunteer for Atzola. Certain hours I have my thing on. Certain hours I'm off, right? What was the nekuda that he had was not Mesiris Nefesh. He didn't demand from the 9 Talmidim Mesiris Nefesh. He demanded a krisus bris, which meant the last drop of blood. A krisus bris meant the last drop of blood. Mesiris Nefesh, a person could say, I dedicate myself. To the Rebbeinu Shalom. Shabbos, I'm dedicated to the Rebbeinu Shalom. I give a certain shiurim that I have every day. Krisus bris meant to the last drop of blood. Question. They were not so different. He was there at Eben. He was. This is a good question. The question is the answer. The Rebbe said that that's the lesson. That's what the Friedrich Rebbe told the story, because it's for us to learn that whatever was shaykh to happen, then the circumstances were much stronger. Today, there's the same thing. There's maligim and there are people. It's an interesting thing. I took krisus bris and I went into the Oitzah Chochma and I tried to see in history of Klal Yisrael that any Gedol Yisrael ever did this. Do it. And the answer is yeah, but it happened excessively, but only happened to Friedrich Rebbe, the Rebbe Rashab, and the Rebbe. It's looking at the and the Rebbe Rashab was when he was miyaseh Tomchet Mimim, his first sicha. He said that there are those that are cherfa ebecha, cherfa ikvul mishachecha, that they're trying to hold back bias Mashiach. This is the truth is then the enemies of the Jews always have different face, but the heart and soul are the same thing. One day they're called Nazis, one day they're called communists. One day they're the right, the other day they're the left. Yeah, what's the difference? The excuses. Why to boycott Israel? What's an afkamina? What's an afkamina? If it's 1932 or it's 2020, what's an afkamina? We know that boycott Israel, boycott the Jews is the same thing. This excuse, that excuse. What's an afkamina? We know it's the same thing. The is the same thing. And when he opened the yeshiva, he made this declaration that these were the words. He said, he's turned to his son, and he said that I'm making with you a krisus bris, to the work in the Mesiris Nefesh for Torah Nir Shamayim, Avodah Shabalev, to never make any shortis. Yikav Adina Sahor. The Eibishter made the refuah before the market. The Eibishter gave the refuah of Yeshivas Tomchet Mimim against the Mechaver Mafitze Scholar. I am guaranteed from heaven that Tomchet Mimim will have the upper hand over the Chaver Mafitze Maskola and Kfira and Torah, and that we will win. This is words in the Sikha. Just to illustrate what is a krisus bris. What's a krisus bris? My Zayda, that's what the Rebbe says. Now, I want to tell you a story. My Zayda told the story many times. Kedarko, he told every story with every detail. With a detail, I'm sorry, bet mechila. But the story I heard from him, I can't say how many times. I probably heard it from him 20 times. So this was probably one of his favorite stories. His mother, my Eltazeda, had 5 children. And Nebach is in the childbirth of the 5th child. She passed away because it wasn't proper medical care. Rebbe Shah was very upset. talking like Yiddish, a doctor. Anyway, she passed away. So Meltazeh that was left, 5 children with a baby that was just born. He had a cousin. So my elder Baba had she was cousin with his first wife. She used to come to Lubavitch. Unusual thing. Those days a woman should go to that's the way she was. Her family already moved to America. She didn't want to go to Haifa and Medina. And so she used to come. So she used to stay in her cousin's house. Someone suggested the shidduch, so she agreed. Got married. Short time after Chasna. And my Eltazed was then working as a Gabbai by the Rebbe Rashab. It wasn't that he wanted to do it. The Rebbe Rashab was told that's his job. So he was once in the middle of the night, and in the shtetl, like the song, take a match and give a scratch, and no more shtetl. It was mamish that way. So all of a sudden there was a fire in the town of Lubavitch, and it went from house to house. Mamish, the place was on fire. So my grandmother, she was a feisty woman. I used to spend a lot of time with her. There was a few summers that she didn't want to sleep alone. So I stayed with her one summer. I used to go to day camp at night. She wanted to make sure that I'm not tricking her. I am, going to bed and going home at night. So once in the middle of the night, I feel she's like, she went back to bed. Wanted to make sure that I'm actually there. I was 8 years old, 9 years old, 10 years old. So she wakes up, there's a fire. So she calls her husband, there's 5 kids, not around. So she grabbed all 5 kids, the baby with all 5, they were all tiny kids. It was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And she saved them. All night they were in the forest. In the morning, they were matzliach to put out the fire. And she had all the kids with her. And mid them all, their husband comes back. She says, "Yeah, what happened?" He said that when he heard there's a fire, he realized that Rebbe's house is all the Kisvei Kodesh. All the Kisvei Kodesh, starting from the Mashem to the Maggid, the Alter Rebbe, all the Kisvei Kodesh were there. Like the Alter Rebbe wrote a second edition of Shulchan Aruch. We have 3.5 of the first Simonim. That's it. The rest got burnt. Imagine. So he said he ran to the house of the Rebbe Rashab to save the Kisvei Kodesh. So she said that there's a lot of Talmidim learning in the yeshiva. They can also help. But the 5 kids are your kids. They're your kids. They're not my kids. They could have burnt in the fire. He said, "You're right. Pasha, I guess. You're right. I Pasha forgot." So I said, "Okay, you know what? You forgot the moichel, but I want to get." So he didn't know what to do. He tried to appease her, whatever. My grandmother didn't want to hear about it. So he went to the Rebbitzin. Rebbitzin went to my great-grandmother, and spoke. She said she'll try it again. So Baruch Hashem worked out. But she had unbelievable respect for him. It's not there was stories written about my grandfather. He once told stories about his parents. He wrote a booklet. Shabina Rov looked through it. He tells that his mother never called his father by name. She had unbelievable respect. I'm not going to tell the story now, but the story, Shabina Rov said it was like he'd never seen such a story in his life. She knows her husband. It's not that she respected him. The Rebbe Rashab, after she made up that she's coming back, we show him Beis. The Rebbe Rashab said he wants to give her a special bracha, and she came and gave her a bracha. She had arichas yom. She really lived a very long, sweet life. No, to 100. 100. No, the other Baba bracha. It's not bad. She was lucid till the last day. She was Baruch Hashem. It was a good bracha. So לא הסבתא, אני מספר על הסבתא. כן, היא הייתה בסדר גמור. Seder Gamur. So you see, the Rebbe Rashab was able to bring out in his Chassidim such an unbelievable thing, such a dedication. That you would call a krisus bris. That's the difference of Mesiras Nefesh and a krisus bris. That's what a krisus bris is. That's what a krisus bris. The reason I'm telling a story is sometimes we read the stories of the Frierdiker Rebbe, and we think this was a Rebbe, but we have to realize that there were thousands of Chassidim that went in this derech, and that mamish, that to them this was a krisus bris. True, the story happened with 10 Talmidim, but Lapoil, there were alofim that went al Mesiras Nefesh, Kipshute, al Kiddush Hashem. Amish, I mean, these are people that they don't even know where they're buried. They have no idea where they're buried. A few years ago, so they found the files. My grandfather was really excited about it. His father's files of interrogation were found, including exactly where they buried him. I knew every night they killed people. Then they would fill up sacks. But the KGB was very organized. You think they're just a whole bunch of drunken Russians. They're very, very organized. So they had outside the city, which is now a park, but b'diuk otzum every night, how much people they would kill, who got killed, and exactly A, B, C, D. No. They were piled up. The bodies, they were covered. Next day, next ditch. It was a huge park outside Petersburg. So I don't know, one by one on top. I can't imagine that they would give them such a. They filled them up as like a boy. But we worked with by Zayda he got a what's it called, permit to put up a matzeva. We put it up a couple of years ago. My Zayda was very interested in it. For his father. No, his father. Not his Zayda, his father. No, Zayda was his father. No, it wasn't Lubavitch. My elder Zayda was a Yosef. He didn't know his father. But his father and his brother, they tried to interrogate them. So they called him the brother, and he wouldn't budge, so they killed him. And they thought my elder Zayda would break from that. Didn't break, so they killed him too. So he put up a matzeva. It's a kadvar pella that such a thing happened, that they gave that if it just happened the nick of time before my Zayda passed away, he lived long enough to be able to get the files, to be able to have someone. It was very complicated to find exactly the huge park. Kids, it was a lot of work to locate exactly the spot where it is and to get a permit. And he put up a matzeva or whatever. I mean, exactly, that's the place. Yeah, he got a permit to do it. Yeah, it's an unbelievable thing. No, it's not money. It's just a pella. You see that the Frierdiker Rebbe won the war. It's an unbelievable thing. If you go around Russia today, Shmulik has been there. We should once take a trip. It would be a nice thing to take a trip once. Kivrei Tzadikim. But you see, but what's more important is to see how vibrant that there's yeshivas and mikvahs and chadorim and taka from life, from a Yidden. So who had the final word? It's an unbelievable thing. One of the cruelest dictators of all time was Stalin. I mentioned the Shabbos. They say that Stalin killed more people than Hitler. Numbers. Stemgarnish didn't hear to him. He said the million people is a statistic. Stemgarnish. One people die. He said one person dies, a tragedy. A million people die. It's a statistic. Stemgarnish. So here came the Rebbe, made a krisus bris with nine Talmidim, and until the last drop of blood. And Taka, there were thousands of Eden that followed this thing. But the bottom line is, who is the Netzachim? Who is today? You have a menorah lighting in the Kremlin, and Stalin is the red. Yeah, exactly. It's Alba the Shikra. It's very real. But he does the right thing. But maybe he does the right thing. That's the way he needs to do. That's no, we trust neighbors there, but the bottom line is we see that this Krisus Bris worked. The Rebbe Rashab made with his Talmidim a Krisus Bris. The Frierdiker Rebbe made with his Talmidim a Krisus Bris. If you look, to me, I was neshtoimer when I realized this. I'm looking in the Oitza Chochma. Who else made Krisus Bris with their Talmidim? The Rebbe. The first Ramish when he became Rebbe, the first Fabrengen Shavuos. So he says he tells over the story, and he says that this story is not a story that happened in the past. It's a story that's nageya for everyone sitting here now, like in the avodas Hashem of achzokas hayadus, narbotzas hatoira, that a person could say, whatever, a little bit, I'll give a little time, I'll be a volunteer. Krisus Bris. The Rebbe explained that Fabrengen, what's the meaning of a Krisus Bris? He said that what's the pshat the Frierdiker made a Krisus Bris? He was megala the yechida of his neshama into the yechida of the neshama of his talmidim. That gave them the koyach to stand up to such unbelievable things. The Gemara says about Yochanan and Mishal of Azariah, that as great as they are, that they were able to go into Kivshana Ish. Yochanan and Mishal of Azariah said they're not bowing to the tzelem. If they're going to have to go into the Kivshana Ish, they'll go into the Kivshana Ish. The Gemara says a remarkable thing. The Gemara says, so we don't know. We don't know what would be if they would torture them, because torture is an excruciating thing. Pain is the worst thing. Pain is gefährliche Sache. So like now in the United States, you make medications and the other people abuse it. Pain is a very, very complicated thing. The Gemara said, if they would torture them, we don't know what's going to happen. But here, the Frierdiker Rebbe showed that there were thousands of Yidden that took his lead. They were tortured. It means to take a father, take a son, and kill a son in front of the father. The father he doesn't budge, he doesn't move, he doesn't, and the do to the father, and that's it. It's a garnish. So the Rebbe said that I demand from my chassidim that they should make a Krisus Bris. So the Krisus Bris that Rebbe wants from us is not so complicated. It's not to do with physical pain, no interrogation. It's just that we shouldn't care what the Welt sagt, what the Gas sagt. Doesn't matter what the street says about us. Doesn't matter what the world thinks about us. Doesn't matter. Like I say a lot of times, there's governments all around the world. They think the borders are here. They have no idea. Once a year, there's a shluchim convention. The shluchim draw up. This is my territory. This is your territory. This is his territory. They have no idea. The world is already split up. You can go to the moon. You can go to Mars if you want some new territory. The territory is already all covered. I'm sure it's covered already. Some shliach it belongs to someone. We have to know it's nicht nageya what the Welt sagt, nicht nageya what the Tzahara sagt. And it's interesting that just like one of the first sichas that Rebbe ever said was about Krisus Bris, one of the last sichas Rebbe said that ich getan alles was ich kann. Rebbe said I did everything I could. It's very clear. That's it. Said, give us Sivatzayich, I'm giving it over to you, the avodas Hashem, to bring Mashiach Tzidkenu. So it's our job to do this avodas Hashem. But the Rebbe said the expression mazuch should be 10 akshonim. 10 akshonim. Why 10 akshonim? Let's do with 10. There's something in this of a Krisus Bris of 10. So maybe shall help from L'chaim that the story that we're learning now from Chag HaGeula, which is going into the 50th year when the Rebbe told the story in Tav Shalom Beis and Celeste, which then was 50 years since the story had happened in Tav Reish Pei Beis, that there should be, like Rashi says, that we learn Torah, it shouldn't be Yugmata, Yoshan, Alta Shmatis. It should be Chadosh, Kechadoshim, Chadoshim Amish, that the story should be alive to us. Not if it's a nice tzaddikim that lived 100 years ago, they made a Krisus Bris with the Rebbe, but that me and you we yochel to make this Krisus Bris, what the world thinks of us. We know what we need to do. We know the world belongs to us to secretly conquer the world and to make it l'sakan olam v'malchus shildan dalad yud. L'chaim, l'chaim. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, seltzer. You have a seltzer. You have seltzer. Yeah, 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 yeah. Nice color, nice color. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 la, la. Yeah, la, la, ya, la, ya, la, ya, la, ya, la, ya, la, ya, la. Ah, yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 la, la, ya, la. Yeah, 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 la, la. Like some I come Be'eretz Tziyam Eya Yeveli Oh ay 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 I came back again, Chassis, Midnight, I came back again, Chassis, Midnight, I came back, I dash, Ich Chalina is a skunk of a dead. Chaim l'chaim. Fella, person is in jail sometime discombobulated. Really, it comes out, shooting right away. Never mind that he's nachzak sayad, he's straight back at his work. He immediately said a few Maimorim. This morning we spoke about the Chidush. Asked the question, what's the difference in Nusach? Beches Hades, Beches HaGoimel, Tateretz. Wasn't sitting in the jail with his Zoytza Chochma, a nice little Dell computer. We had a hunger strike to get back his talus and film. We're talking about interrogations. Friedrich Rebbe right away penned a letter. He asked that this day should be kept forever as a Yom Geula, Chag HaGeula. A lot of Gedolei Yisrael that answered positively. There's a pamphlet, all the Gedolei Yisrael that have Rabbi Chaim Sonnenfeld, others that have Cook signed the letter. There should be a Chag HaGeula, so on. Friedrich Rebbe wrote a letter about he's requesting that this should be a Chag HaGeula. It's his own thing. So he writes, no. Chaz de Hashem kilois amonus chus avois kedoshim kiloi cholav lo yochlu lo hilchem bekvoisam laad al netzach betzochem. Lo yoisi belavad goal HaKadosh Baruch Hu beyud Beis Tammuz. I can play in words, like from the Haggadah. Lo yoisi belavad goal HaKadosh Baruch Hu beyud Beis Tammuz. Ki im gam es kol mechavevei tereseinu HaKadoshim. Wasn't the personal redemption for me. Every Yid that has the Torah precious to their heart. Shemri mitzvahs, those that keep their mitzvahs. Begam, and also is Asher b'Shem Yisrael Yochanan. Every Yid who has the name Yisrael, he's a Jew. Kol Yishmi Yisrael, every Yid, brackets, maybe his chashiv Marsov ve'aprote b'shmiras v'kiyam mitzvahs. Regardless to where he's standing in shmiras mitzvahs. Lavavei tamim im Hashem b'Torasa, his heart is whole with the Eibishter. Therefore, this Geula is not only for me, for every Yid. In other words, that this Geula is not only a Chag Geula for a Yid, which is a Shem B'Torah mitzvahs, also for a Yid, which is not yet a Shem B'Torah mitzvahs. This Fabrengen I'm talking about, that was it's 49 years ago, we're going into the 50th year, Tav and Beis, that they just published the video of it. So the Rebbe stellt sich on this lashon. Unbelievable diuk. Anyone that knows a little bit about Tiv Gitin B'Kiddushin, so when you write a get, you have to write Kol Shum B'Chanicha D'Islay. That's what the Mishnah says in Gitin. But there's one basic difference. Hundreds of svarim on Shemus Gitin. But there is a cardinal rule that anyone that knows Aleph Beis of Gitin knows that a Jewish name, a Hebrew name, you say if a person has two names, Yaakov and Yisrael. So you write Yaakov, the Miskaria, Yisrael. Sometimes it can be two names or one name, but sometimes two names are really two names. So you say Yaakov, the Miskaria, Yisrael. Sometimes his name is Yaakov. His name is Yisrael. I'm saying for Dafka, this example, his name is Yisrael, and they call him Jack. Jack. So you write Yisrael HaMechuna Jack. Why? Because a Shem Kodesh is a miskid. That's my name. Shem Choil is not my name. It doesn't have Hoyishanom. It's a kino. A kino means it's like a nickname. It's far away. It's a translation. It's not me. It's not who I am. It's a Shem Kinu. Right. So, there are called Shem Kodesh, you write Niskiri. For Shem Chol, you write Hamachuna. And you get that you write. So sometimes there's multiple names. There is multiple Jewish names and multiple Goyish names that a person might have. So, Yisrael, the Miskiri Menachem, the Miskiri Ruvain, Hamachuna Jack, Hamachuna whatever. Rebbe said that what is the Friedrich Rebbe trying to say? Even there are Yid that I'm an international person. Don't box me in. Jewish. Jews are special. I'm Mr. International. I'm Mr. International. I'm not even American. I'm Mr. International. Very cosmopolitan person, very intellectual person, also very compassionate, very ethical person. Why should charity be more for the Jewish people? The fact that that doesn't think. The fact that he's an ethical and good person is because the Baba had given when she lit Shabbos candles, and it came down. It didn't happen in a vacuum. That you're a good person. The reason you're going and you're helping people in the Indian reservations in Dakota, and the reason why you're going to the Amazon to help indigenous people, Guatemala and Chabor from the Platz. And I see from far there's a woman. She's doing like charity work, very far. So I said to my wife, "Let's do some of time." This is a Jewish woman. If you're in the middle of the whoop and you see a lady that's doing charity work with indigenous kids, who do you think it is? The granddaughter of some Nazi, some slave owner that had a cotton field. You think of that? Who do you think is there? A Yiddish maidel could only be a Yiddish Bobby. Kachava came over, so sweet. From that. Yeah, it's such a place. You meet him, Avenue J, don't want to look at you. You walk on the other side, the guy with the beard. But you meet them somewhere in the whoop somewhere, the Amazon. So, shy. So you can make a connection. You can have an influence. So the emphasis is that why Jews good people, because in their heart, it's from the Ovis and the Amos, not only Abraham Yitzchak Yaakov, Sarah Rivka Rochel Valeya, every Yid, their Bobbis, their Zabis. But this person, he's a cosmopolitan person. He's international. He's also ethical. He's not going to lie. His mother happens to be Jewish. So in his mind, he's B'Shem Yisrael, he's Jewish. Yechuna, to him, it's a kinui. It's a kinui. To him, I happen to be Jewish. My mother happens to be Jewish. I told you the story. I was doing the sign as a kid, and I asked someone, "Excuse me, sir, are you Jewish?" So he said, "Yes, I'm half Jewish." So I said, "Which half?" I thought the father, the mother. I said, "Which half?" He says, "My bottom half." So this person, he says, is Mishem Yisrael Yechuna. His mother happens to be Jewish. His mother is Jewish. Mishem Yisrael Yechuna. So sagt the Frierdiker Rebbe that my Geula is his Geula. My Geula is his Geula. Because that's only a Chitzonius, the Chitzonius. Like he says in the brackets. The truth is that, look, we tell this Yid, I don't care that you think you're Mr. International and you're very cosmopolitan and you're a politician somewhere in Washington and the EU and you're very fancy and no one even knows you're Jewish, but I happen to know you're Jewish. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that you think that Shem Yisrael is only a kinui and Api Kabbalah kinui is 86, like Shem Elakim is 86. And that's why Shem Yudkei Vovki is the Niskiri says in the Kabbalah, because that's the Eibish's name. Lakim is Lashon, the only name from the Eibish is Lashon Rabbi. Because over there, you look in the world, you see a multitude. The Chayes of the world is from Shem Elakim, Midas Adin, Midas Teva, and you see Taka, you see that the Eibish there, but you don't see the Achdus Hashem so strongly. You see that there's a multitude. That's why Shem Elakim is Lashon Rabbi. So Lakim, brought in Sifrei Kabbalah, is really 86, like Shem, like the Yin of Kinui. But the other Shemus of the Eibish, the Shem Hashem Nikrolech, is Meloshin, the Niskiri, the Niskari. But Shem Elokim is a Yotzim Klal, that's a Mechuna. It's 86, a Mechuna. So there is a Yid, he thinks that he's a Mechuna. We tell him, listen, Shtemes, not true, excuse me, sir, you're Jewish. You're just as Jewish as I am Jewish. You're just as Jewish as I am Jewish. That's the avoida that the Krisus Bris that the Rebbe wants from us. Aka the Frierdiker Rebbe wrote this letter, but this is really the big thing that the Rebbe wanted from every Yid in this generation, To know that the Krisis Bris that he makes is that this is our job. When Mashiach comes, every single Yid has to be to look to Echad Beis Yisrael. This is the Rebbe's word that this Uli Omer, Lubavitcher Rebbe. You say the Agoda, that we say to the Ben Osher that Ilo Yesham Lo Yonigel. How you being Mekar something? You know, I'm going to break your teeth. You know that? I'm going to soon knock your teeth out. You talk to me like this. If you were there, you would die in the Shloshis Yimei. You think you'd be Mekar of someone that way? No. So the Rebbe says, it's like Uli Omer Lubavitcher Rebbe says, that's exactly what we tell him. If you were there, forget, okay. You don't want to come out with us. You want to stay, die there. But today, no Jew will left behind. It's Nishtar Zazach. I don't care what you're saying. I don't care what you're saying. Just like if the child says, I don't want to be your child anymore. You have a 10-year-old child says, I don't want to be your child anymore. You're going to say, okay. You don't want to be my child? Here. You walk through the door. Maybe an Italian knows how to do that. I don't know. Maybe an Irishman knows how to tell him. Roberto, you get out the door. We Jews don't know how to do that. There's no such thing. That doesn't work. We don't know how to do such a thing. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. You can't even fake it. Our kids know it's not going to work. So we have different methods of how we get around our kids. But this is not one of the methods to say, no, you don't want to listen? Show the door. That's not a Yiddish way. He was a goy. And his mother was a goy. Right. For a goy. Because he had a goyish mama. That's a goy. We have to know every Yid is to look to Echad Beis Yisrael. The Rebbe said the Krisis Bris with us is that we show every single Yid that we feel that he is a Yid. And that's what the Friedrich Rebbe is saying. And people not mechavev Torah, a shul goer, shomer mitzvahs. And Stam, he's a Yid, that he says he has no connection. He happens to be, his nationality is Jewish, Yisrael, Yisrael, Yechuna. For him also it's a Geula. Kikol, Ishmi, Yisrael, Lavav, Tomim, Hashem, V'Torah. Time is flying. So I just wanted to share a few stories I heard this week. Amish and Gevaldike stories. My father makes a Fabrengen. I mentioned Shabbos. He makes a Fabrengen every year. He had a nest, unbelievable nest. Never. They had kids today, 9 boys in a car in an accident. Their life was saved. So, and they're all living, yeah. They all get together once a year. My father makes a Fabrengen, Tammuz. It's the 51st year they make the Fabrengen. So, right? Oh, they're not all living anymore. You're right. They're not all living anymore. But at the Fabrengen, they tell other stories. My father told a story from Rabbi Bukit. Rabbi Bukit, Al Hashem, is a Choshev Erov. He was teaching in Lamavit Yeshiva. So he said that there was he heard the story from Rabbi Bukit. Rabbi Bukit had a person that they davened a little in the shul. Didn't know him well. I'm the shul. And he said the early years of the Lubavitcher Rebbe's in Siyus, he said he wanted an audience with the Lubavitcher Rebbe. Can you organize? Okay. He called up the secretary. He said, okay. So the guy has gets a call, 1 o'clock in the morning. My client says, well, you send him a sugar to the Lubavitcher Rebbe. Are you crazy? The guy ran out of the Rebbe's room like a Michigan and he slammed the door. He gave the whole 770 was shaking. So next morning, Rabbi Bukit sees this guy in shul. The guy comes over, he says, Rabbi, I feel terrible. I'll tell you what happened last night. I'm going through a little bit of a rough time financially. So I figured I'll go to Ebba hopping. I have solace, I have to embellish it a little bit. So he has a small family. He has 3 kids, 4 kids, 5 kids. And but if he has 3 kids and he's asking for Zakah, if he has 12 kids, so he writes a kvittel for all his kids. So Uven Ben Miriam, Shimon Ben Miriam, Levi, and then he adds a whole bunch of other names. and it works. People are Rachmanis, even Rachmanim, they Rachmanim. Good. He came to the Rebbe for Yeshivas. He gave the Rebbe. The Rebbe ignored, says the first 5 children were really his children. The Rebbe didn't look at the first. He went right away to the name, the 6th name, and the son of Miriam. Which yeshiva does he go to? So and then the Rebbe asked for the next kid. So he realized. So he was so fashev. So he ran out of the office. So he gets the story's not over. Rabbi Booker comes home, gets a call from Rabbi Klein. Rebbe asked that he should come to 7-7. Rebbe left for the secretary an envelope with $1,000 cash. Give to the seed. Another story. There was one of the people that were there said that he had. If you remember, there were the years that the Rebbe, it was bothered the Rebbe a lot. In Israel, there was a Chok HaShavuz. Any Jew could return. And any Jew that's born to a Jewish mother, and that part of the law is if he has Giyur. It doesn't say Giyur Kaloch. So Reform Gatus, the Israeli government recognized. And Achman al-San, the Rebbe said that this is one of the worst things. We're not going to have a Sefer Yochanan. Then we're going to have the breaking down. It's one of the basic things in the Torah that the Yidden have to be separate from the Goyim. That's what we're Goyim lo yischashem. I'm laboded. That it's a terror. It's a Rachmana litzlan, the biggest chilul Hashem. The Rebbe unbelievable agmas nefesh. So there was a politician that went against his party, the wishes of his party, and always voted pro what Lubavitch Rebbe wanted, which was to Tikkun Chok HaShvut, Giyur Kalocha, Mi Yehudi. So this guy was this guy that was telling the story is Meir Minkowitz. He lives on Eastern Parkway. He comes. He was a politician. Nebuch, he had a problem. He couldn't walk. So he had a stick. Kam going him in the fist. So he was staying here. He lives mamish next to 770. So he was staying. This politician was staying by him. So he came out of Yechidus. The Rebbe was talking to him again about me, Yehudi. Come out. The Bochum asked, what did the Rebbe say? So he didn't want to tell them his private conversation. But he said, the Rebbe said, what's geist mit der Stecken? What do you have the stick? The Bochum said, what? So he said, the Rebbe said, what's geist mit der Stecken? So the Bochum pulled away his stick. So he started screaming, I can't walk. They said the Rebbe said, "Was darfst du dich stecken?" He said it was a scene in 7-7. He was begging, "Give me back my stick. I can't go." They said the Rebbe told you you're going to walk without a stick. If you listen, you're going to walk without a stick. Kachava walked out. No more stick. No more stick. Gendik. No more stick. No more stick. Kachava. So when the Rebbe says it, he means it. My Chag HaGeula, says the Rebbe, is your Chag HaGeula. We spoke about this the other day. In Tammuz, some Sofer says, and we go to Kivrei Tzadikim, not the Pshat, we're going to someone else. It's like the head is davening for the hand. Say, Peter, but you're going to go to someone else, daven for the Eibishter. You know, we have this guy comes here and says, the Rebbeinu Shalom is my Rebbe. Rebbeinu Shalom is my Rebbe. The fact is that the Rebbe's Chag HaGeula is our Chag HaGeula, like some Sofer says. It's like a hand and a head. So the Mela, when the Rebbe told this guy, you don't need a stick. Right. Right. A lot of things it says in the Zohar. Okay. So the Mela, L'chaim. Right. They're not saying the minor lashon. They say the minor lashon. I know. So l'chaim, this is for us a Chag HaGeula, and the Mela is unbelievable koyach in this day. We have to use out the koyach, tzavek bar from the stecken. Sometimes we think that we can't come. We think I can't do this. The davening is too much for me. This is too much for me. This is too much. I have ADD. I can't pay attention for this. I can't do this. I can't do that. This is too much. I throw away the stick. The Chag HaGeula, the Rebbe's Chag HaGeula, is our Chag HaGeula. Should be Zoicha Taka, that we should Taka have a Geula Protis in our Avodas Hashem. And should have a Geula Klolis, the Geula Amitzvah Vashlema, and the Mashiach Tzedkenu. Chaim L'chaim.
Amen. L'chaim, brother.
Oh, well, I know. Oh, I know. Mashiach, oh, yeah. Ay, 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 Shendes Vekarai. Okay, so I might have known. L'chaim.
Fire.
I just want to sign with another word. When there is a shliach here that's from China. First of all, they should help all Klal Yisrael on sein gesund. Everyone should be protected. Eden and Eretz HaKodesh, Eden on the entire world, Eden should be protected. The whole Bnei Yisrael people mitzitcha elef for the Vava Mimenecha, Lecha Yigash, doesn't matter what the statistics are, first wave, second wave, third wave, fourth wave. It's not Nageya. The Rebbeinu Shalom can make that L'chol Bnei Yisrael, there should be oil, all the Eden should be gesund, all the Eden should have good parnosa, all the Eden should have nachas of the kids and make good shidduchim. That's the first thing. And we should want to make a Chiddush of Fabrengen, broche for Menachem ben Zoraleya. They should have Refuah Shleima, and for Chava Bas Varle should have Refuah Shleima, and for Shnei Zalman ben Hen Yinom should have Refuah Shleima. Huh? Who? Chaim Shnei Zalman ben. No, I said my brother-in-law. Shnei Zalman ben Hen Yinom. Ben. It is that we see an unbelievable thing, that this corona thing, a lot of lessons that you could learn. It's mamish. Every lesson that we mentioned the other day when we were talking Gimel Tammuz, so like the story I was telling about Chassam Sofer. So my gay friend is everything is a yid. Shouldn't get you think, oh, there's political pressures. Everything is the yid. And exactly, we get blamed to it anyway, so it's our fault. So never my fault, but our thing to take a lesson from everything. So unbelievable lesson. Someone mentioned the Fabrengen that we had here, the last Fabrengen before the whole corona thing broke. See that the Rebbe had a big koch of youth. In this Fabrengen, by the way, that I'm talking to you about, the Lamed Beis, the Fabrengen of Beis Gimel Tammuz. The Rebbe's big thing is about the mile of youth. The mile of youth. The Rebbe said that the mile of young people is a few things. Number one, that the old person, you can't teach old dogs new tricks. I'm entrenched in my way. Young people want to try new things, especially the mamash little ones. Put the finger in the socket. Oh, you got a bird. Okay, that's not what you put. Blender, okay, tried it. That little kids try at everything. But young people try new things. So now, right? That's one thing. Second thing is that young people have merits, have a lot of energy. And another thing is that young people don't like compromise, shortest. People, politicians, frustration, where not MS could have young people are more idealistic. True or not true? If it's true, this is what we have to do. If this is the MS, so what's negate? What he says, she says, they say, this is the MS, is the MS. So the Rebbe said that the Iker is not, the Rebbe said this many times, the Yorn is nicht of the passport. Doesn't matter what it says on your driver's license, your passport. If you're 43 or 83, the gay is how you feel. Are you young or you're old? You could be old and be young. You could be young and to be an old decay. What do we see here with the corona thing? That this affects people that are old, not young. Again, the young people the little kids are being used as carbonas. All these draconian laws against children. Why? Because they don't have a voice. They don't vote till they're 18. So punish the little kids again. But the truth is, I'm not a satire. Policy is not negated. But the MS, that's the way it is. Young people are not affected by it. And if they have it, there are people that are sitting here that Baruch Hashem, got through it. People that are old to be more careful about this. So what do we see from this? So we see the gewalt of youth. But by Yid, youth doesn't go on what's written on the passport. It could be young and he's really old. It can be just like it in feeling. Some takas, you see some people that are quite old. They called me up, Balabas that just passed away in Cope City. Mama, she was in the high 90s. And I just went with Nacham, his son. I was friendly with his father. Said, Mamish, his father used to go exercise every day for over an hour. So your father was a very young man. So even though he was old, he was young. He was very fit. He was a young man. He used to jog every day. And so he was young. He was old, but he was young. And then there's people that are young, and the alt decays because in the cup is the alt. They're in their head, they're old. So the Rebbe wanted from us a lot that we should have this smile of youth. We shouldn't be scared to experiment and avoid this Hashem, to go out of our comfort zone and to do it with a lot of energy and to have the ideology for the MS, and not to be, just take it the way life gives it to us. So l'chaim, that this is the lesson that we take now from this corona. MS says, Chazal say, ein oimim l'spal olam etach COVID. So we should take, what is it? Good. L'chaim, we should take a lesson from this. That we should be tzor, we should be young. And people mit sitcha elef, provavim yenecha, all the Yidden should be l'chob ne'Yisrael ha'er b'mishroisam, and the ikir is the ha'er will be the Beis Mashiach tzedkeinu.
Hey, you're spoiled. Fine.
God.
Yeah.
Truly.
Very good. Yeah. I'll forward you the sikha that was talking about. It's beautiful. Good. L'chaim.
Chaim.
Came out last week of Rabbi singing "Hello, came in."
And it's a little different out here. I didn't hear the. Not now. Send it to me. Send it to my wife.
Truly.
Thank you.
L'chaim.
Sure. Or have you made it tonight? Yeah, sure. One second. You don't want to be recorded. No. Oh yeah. Let's let that mic. A good night, everyone that's joining us on
Good
Zoom.
night, good night. Good night,
Chaim
Rabbi.
l'chaim.
L'chaim.
I'm a brother.
Chaim, Chaim.
Shulim, Shulim.